Hello everyone. Previously we went through collections, right? So today we'll be continuing with the concurrency. So basically what is concurrency? Concurrency manages multiple tasks executing simultaneously, improving program efficiency and responsiveness through the thread management. So this we will understand with a very simple example, right? Let's understand the multi-threading. Let's understand the concurrency with the multi-threading example. So what I'll do, I'll just come here. Let me right click here, hover on new, click on Java class. Let me just give me a second. Let me give multi-threading example, right? I'll just hit enter. So what I have done here, we have defined a public class named multi-threading example. Next, as usual, we'll be defining the main method. I'll just give public static void main. Let me give string and r, right? So here, after this, what I'll do, I'll just come here. Let's define a class named myThread that extends the thread class, right? So let me comment this one and write here for the reference. Define a class named myThread that extends the thread class. I'll just give class myThread extends thread, right? So here, let me make use of the override. Basically, I'll just give here, alright? This indicates that this method overrides a method in the thread class, right? So I'll just come here. Let me make use of public void run. Basically, what we are doing here, we are overriding the run method to define the code that has to be executed by the thread. Next, let's loop 5 times, right? Here, I'll just make use of the for loop. Let me give int I equals 0, I less than 5, and just increment the I. We are looping 5 times. Next, let's print the thread ID and the current value of I. I'll just make use of sout for that. I'll just give thread current thread. I'll just give get ID. Let's concatenate the value as well, right? Within the strings so that this looks good. Let me give space here also along with the I. So what we have done here, anything wrong here? Let's look at it. This is fine, no worries. What we are doing, we are printing the thread ID and the current value of I, right? So this is it. Next, I'll just make use of the try block. Let me use try, and within the try, let's pause the execution for 500 milliseconds. I'll just give thread dot sleep off and give 500, right? Next, if any error occurs, right? So we have to print the error. For that purpose, I'll be making use of catch block. I'll just come here. Let me give. So anything wrong here? Yeah, interrupted exception I'll give. Let me just call E here. So here I'll just print the stack trace if an interrupted exception occurs. How we can do that? I'll just keep E dot print stack trace, right? This one. So what we are doing here, we are printing the stack trace if an interrupted exception occurs. So basically I'll explain again. initially what we have done, we have defined a class named myThread that extends the thread class, this one. Next, we have made use of this one, override by which basically indicates that this method overrides a method in the thread class. Alright, next one, public void run, we are overriding the run method to define the code to be executed by the thread, this one, run. Basically, next we have loop 5 times, then we have just print the thread ID and current value of I, right here, this one. After that, we have made use of try and catch block. Basically, within the try, what we are doing, we are pausing the execution for 500 milliseconds here. This one, by in the catch block, what we are doing, we are printing the stack trace if an interrupted exception occurs, right? This is it for this one. Next, I'll just come here. Let's create the new threads, basically T1 and T2. I'll just give my thread T1 new. Just make use of my thread again. We are basically creating the new threads T1 and T2, right? I'll just copy the same thing. Sorry. Here instead of T1, let me give T2, right? We have created the new threads T1 and T2. Next, let's start the first and second thread. How we can do that? Just come here, T1 dot start. Also, let me give T2 dot start. So this is it. So what is it showing here? Typo in the word multi-threading example. So I'll just come here. Where is this one? This one, right? Just come here, refactor. Sorry. Rename file. Just give me a second. Come here, make this one. Yeah. Let me. So class multi-thread is public, should be declared in the file. Example. That's what we have done, right? So here also let me change this one. So now everything looks fine. What happened to this? Typo in the word my thread. So just give me a second. Yeah, we have to give capital T, right? So sorry. So, what happened here? Cannot resolve symbol my thread. So yeah, I'll just change this one as well to capital T. Sorry. This one as well. Here also it has to be capital T, capital C, capital T. Sorry, yeah. Now everything looks good. Did I miss anything? No, right? So yeah, let me run the code. Let's wait for some time. So yeah, you can see 15, value 0, 16, value 0. You can keep on seeing value 1, value 2, 3, and finally 4. 0 to 4 we are printing, right? Basically. So this is the output that we are getting is correct. So this is it. Next, we'll be seeing, we'll be going through the lambda expressions. For now, this is it. Thanks for watching, guys.